Okay, everybody, welcome back in this morning. If you caught up on the last video, you saw we built a fridge slide. It's going to go back here. Today, I thought I'd give you a little better rundown of what's in the back of the Jeep currently and what the plans are going forward to make that fridge slide work. So let me flip the camera around here and I'll give you kind of a walkthrough of what currently is in the back of the Jeep and my plans on how to improve it. So let me flip the camera around and we'll take you for a little tour. All right, looking in the back here, you can see this rack that's currently in here. This is made out of an ATV hitch rack. I just got it from Harbor Freight. Bolted together here in the center. It's actually, this is where the 2-inch tube fits in this rack. Each side bolt to a 2-inch tube that then goes into the receiver. So it's a little narrower, but it's made for an ATV. And you can see size-wise, it's perfect for the back of the Jeep here. It's worked out really well. I'll show you brackets here. I just built some mounting brackets that mount to the hardtop mounting holes, come down here and pick up the bracket in the back, or pick up the rack in the back. Then kind of down here in the front, you can see just a piece of 3/4 inch plywood that's mounted there. I call it a bulkhead. I don't know what else you call it, but it does kind of make a nice trunk. And I can keep all my recovery gear and tools and all that kind of stuff in the back underneath the rack out of the way and somewhat secured. When you lock the back door, it's kind of hard to get them out from underneath that rack, so it'd be a really pretty good deterrent to theft. Well, let's go around to the front and I'll kind of give you a little rundown over there too. Okay, looking in the passenger side door here, you can see I got my shovel mounted to the front of that bulkhead. And down on the bottom right here, you see I just kind of modified a set of cam latches and I made them hook to my footman loops. So it's really actually simple. Just undo those latches, flip the clamp out of there, and it'll just unhook from those footman loops. Super slick. I'll give you a closer up view on those a little bit later. But you can see I got another set of footman loops in front of that, about 6 inches farther forward. What we're going to do is we're going to move this bulkhead, if you will, from where it's at to the next set of loops forward. I'll have to. You can see how it's attached to the first row back. I'll just attach it to the front of this, move it to a new set of footman loops. Probably going to have to rebuild that piece, unfortunately, because I do need to raise up the front edge of this, or raise the rack up about 4 inches to get my cooler in there. I just wanted to show you how that was done. We are going to pull the seat brackets out. Also going to try to going to get my little axe mounted in there with the shovel. It's worked out pretty good. We're going to get those seat brackets out so that we can have clearance to move that to that front set. And then let's go back around to the back. So again, we're back here in the back. Bulkhead's going to go forward. I've already pulled the seat belts out. Took those out quite a while ago just because they were in the way. But we're going to pull all these brackets off. I'm actually going to pull the seat belts out, bolt down here, bolt in here, and get rid of the seat belt, all the seat belt stuff in here as well. Just don't need it. I don't have the passenger seat in with this rack in here. If I ever put the seat back in, I'll keep all this stuff so that I can do that. But right now, it's just kind of getting in the way. And then on the floor here, we're going to take a piece of 1/2 inch plywood and build a floor to mount our cooler down and redo things here. But you can see it's kind of simple setup that I put together there to get our cooler, our floor, slide, everything. We do need to raise this rack up about 4 inches. So it's going to come up about 4 inches higher. So we are going to have to redo our mounts and all that kind of stuff. But that's a project. I don't think we'll get to it in this video. That'll probably be the next video. Today is just going to be, I'm going to take this rack out, take all the brackets off, and get a piece of plywood cut back here to fit down as a floor. See if we can get that fitted in place. All right, those pieces you saw me pull off there, those are the latch system for car seats. So when the strap comes back, gives you someplace down there to latch your car seat latch to. I have zero use for those. So they're going to just come out, going to end up using those holes there for mounting for the cooler. All right, see back end here, all cleared out. What we're going to do, I'm going to come in here and kind of show you. This is the set of footman loops that our bulkhead was connected to before, and this is the set we're going to move it to. And I want the bulkhead to come down and hit the floor, or at least the top of the ribs, top of the carpet here. So I want my floor that I put in to be just short of this by about 3/4 of an inch, just short of the footman loop by about 3/4 of an inch, and over to the sides. And I'm going to use this hole here on each side from the seat mount bracket. I'm going to drill a hole there, bolt the floor down. And as we come back to the back, where we had our latch system loops for the seat belt or the car seats back here in the back, they're just about perfect spot. Use a bolt there in the back. So I'll have 4 bolts holding down the wood back here. And then our seat belt holt right here in the middle. If I decide I need another one because it's kind of rattling or whatever here in the middle, I'll put another one down through the seat belt hole there in the middle. So we'll have 5. But I think 4 will be fine. It doesn't have to be bolted down securely necessarily, just enough to keep it to the floor. So there's that. Over here against the wall, got a piece of 1/2-inch plywood that we're going to cut up and make a floor out of. You could use 3/4. I'm using 1/2 because every 1/4 inch, every 1/2 inch makes a difference when you're building in the back of a TJ. So we're going to use 1/2-inch ply for this. Another thing to talk about are the footman loops that are sticking up here. I don't need those. There's no reason to have those, but I am going to leave them there. What I'm going to do is when I get my floor cut, I'm going to come around and lay the floor in, and then right on top of this, I'm going to smack it with a dead blow hammer and give me a nice outline of where each one of those footman loops is. And we'll just router it out with the router so that it clears, sits down. I want the floor to sit down so that it's sitting on the ribs back here rather than on top of the footman loops. I want it sitting on the ribs. So we'll take a router and just router out those spots real easy so it gives us some clearance. But next step, cutting plywood. Pretty straightforward on this. Just cut a square piece out. Fits in here, 35 wide by about 30.5 long. Gives me enough clearance from my footmans to get the front bulkhead down in there. And it's sitting back here. And tap it forward just a little bit from this back edge so that I have enough clearance here for my piece of aluminum trim to go down right here, piece of angle aluminum to go over this edge and down to trim this end off. Also grab my trusty dead blow, and I know basically where my footmans are under here. I'm going to take one more peek before I do this. And just remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the front I got 5, 6. So take my dead blow, I'm going to go around, smack each one of those a few times with the hammer. And you guys won't be able to see this, but I got marks everywhere that I smacked that mark those footman loops. And I'm just going to grab a little trim router and router out a groove there for each of those. All right, show this to you guys. Along here, you see routed those out. They fit down over the footmans well, and that works so well. I ran my bolts down in here into my mounting holes that I'm going to use. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to lay this back down, get it set back in place, and I'm just going to go around and make those bolts into a poor man's transfer punch. Just like that. Now we should have our bolt holes marked. Yep, perfectly outlined my bolts in every spot. We'll grab a drill and punch those out. Okay, so I'll let you in on a little secret here. I was worried this was going to happen, but my plywood, because I had to drill this hole so close to the edge and it was a big hole, and I actually had a void right where I drilled it. So my plywood delaminated a little bit right there. I kind of anticipated that might happen. And I mentioned earlier in the video that I was looking at doing a piece of aluminum across there. So all this is just a piece of 1 inch, 8th wall, I think, or might even be 16th wall. It's pretty thin stuff, but it's 1 inch by 1 inch. And then I went over to my table saw and I ripped it narrower. I didn't show you guys that because I didn't want the keyboard commandos telling me everything I did wrong doing it that way. But I did it that way and narrowed it down so that it fits here across the back and gives me a nice clean edge. I'm going to trim that up just a little bit around the carpet on both ends just to set it down in there a little better. But it'll hold that down, protect that edge, and then also putting stuff in and out of here, give a nice strong edge there so that I'm not dinging up my plywood. But I ran the bolts in, everything fits. All the cutouts on the back line up with the footmans. Sits down in there nice. I was hoping to just reuse the bolts, but they barely, as you put them down in there, they barely catch. And I don't trust that. In fact, that one didn't catch. So I'm going to run over to the hardware store and grab some longer bolts because I don't have anything that size. And I'm going to see if I can find some nicer cap bolts. If I got to buy some, see if I can find something with a little nicer end on it. So a little more flush down here. And then the other thing I forgot was to get any kind of inserts or T-nuts or anything that goes into this plywood that I can mount the fridge down with. So while I'm there, I'm going to see if I can find some T-nuts or some inserts or something that'll work with this 1/2 inch ply so that I can run a machine bolt down through and bolt my cooler or my fridge slide down rather than using a wood screw or something like that into the plywood. Have a machine thread in there that'll thread down in real nice. So got to kind of button things up for a little bit and run to the hardware store. Enjoy doing these projects. All right, back from Lowe's. We got some bolts. Of course, they didn't have anything other than a standard hex head bolt. So that's what we got for now. Hopefully we'll find something a little better in the future. I'll keep my eye out for that. You can see how I got things laid in here. Carpet tucked underneath this rail. And also back here in the back, I cut this even with the edge of my board. So it's actually 2 pieces so that my bulkhead can slide down in there. No problem. And then because of the cutout here for the latch system, I'm actually going to put a washer underneath this to kind of space that out on both sides. And do that on both sides. Do this other side while I'm at it, get it in place. And we're just going to hammer this home for now and move on to the next part of this. Okay, there you go. You can see how nice and clean that is. Pulled that a little too tight. There we go. But got a nice edge along here for putting stuff in and out so that board won't take the brunt of it. And also holds my carpet down back here in the back. And now with this laid in here, I'm just going to find the hole back here on both sides. Use my soldering iron or a burner, old wood burner I've got. Burn a hole in that and we'll run the other set of bolts down in. Okay, I'm going to try to bring you guys in here where you can see this. Got my little wood burner here. And what I'm doing is I'm just lining up where that hole is. And I'm taking this and I'm poking a hole down in there, making a little fire. But there you go. That open that up a little bit. But what that does doing it that way is not only did I punch the hole through there, but I cauterized everything around there. So now when we take and run a bolt through there, drops right down in the hole. Perfect. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. All right, got the slide sitting in here, fridge slide. So did some measurements, got it set, made sure I clear my latch over here, my striker. Got plenty of room there. Closed my door, make sure this clears everything I've got hanging off my door. Got it squared up. This is where I want it. I'm pull that over just a little bit, decided just a little bit farther, basically lined up my edge with the edge here. So take my little burner again. I'm going to go down through here, and I'm going to do the best I can to clear out these holes all the way down to the wood. And sorry if you guys can't really see, there's only so much room back here, and I take up the bulk of it. So, but I'm just using that that rope burner, or wood. Use your soldering iron if you don't care about your soldering iron, but whatever. The holes burned in the carpet. I'm going to grab my drill and mark those. Just going to use that for a template. Marked each one of the hole locations. Pull everything out of here. And I did find some T-nuts. I'll show you T-nuts, how to install those. We got to pull everything out of here and move on to the next spot. All right. Don't know if you guys ever seen a T-nut before, but this is a T-nut. They only had 5/16, so that's what I ended up with. But that's a 5/16 bolt screwed in there. This is 3/8 of an inch, or excuse me, 3/8 of an inch shank here, and then it's about 7/16 deep, so just under a half an inch deep. And so what we need to do is, in these places, I just turned this so we could work on it out here. But this is one of the spots where I marked my hole. What I need to do is grab a 3/8 inch bit, and then the T-nut will go up through up from the bottom like that and fit in place, so that I then have a set of machine threads to thread this down through. So let me got my drill bit, just got to find my drill. Okay, so we're going to punch this hole out. And with our hole punched out, we're going to take that T-nut, get it started, and you can see it's got teeth on it here. Just going to take and pound it up in place. That didn't work. All right, I had to get after that a little bit, but it's tapped up in place. And now I got a little bolt down into a set of machine screws, and that's got a great big flat washer on it, flat head, I guess, on it, that'll keep it from pulling through, and we'll have a nice tight connection. So I'm going to go around, drill all the rest of these out, knock these T-nuts in, and move on to the next step. Okay, got everything set, got everything ready to go, and I'm just going to run through this final install on this. So I'm kind of happy with it. Make sure I got carpet tucked in everywhere I want it to be, and we're going to bolt everything down, bolt the slide in, make sure it works. All right, let's go get the fridge. Just like that. And she's done. All right, that's probably where we'll wrap it up for today. But as you can see, cooler's mounted, slide works. Couldn't be happier with this. Actually pretty simple project. Cut that piece of plywood, make a floor, and mount our slide in here. Next step, obviously, we got to get the rack back in here. So that'll be the next step, is set the rack up in here, but that'll be the next video. So hope you enjoyed this one, and well, we'll catch you on the next one.